Hi guys, it's Beth. Welcome back to my channel, and today I just wanted to take some time and show you the first projects that I have made using the Animal Safari pad from Echo Park Paper. This is my latest 12 by 12 paper pad project. And when I did the preview, I told you that I was going to start with all the cut-aparts. There were several sheets of cut-aparts in this pad. And so I was going to kind of start there and let that kind of determine some of the projects that I did. And so I decided to start with some of the most obvious ones that would be good for scrapbook pages. So I started with the most obvious theme for scrapbook layouts with this pad, zoo. Like, there was a zoo trip in 2012 that I had wanted to scrapbook, so I decided to start with that one and use a couple strips of the paper here and just kind of carried them across. And then the edges that I cut off from this side, I added as fishtails up here. And then I used 1, 2, 3, 4 cut aparts on this page. So I've kind of treated these two as my title, zoo, watch out, zoo, here we come. But then I went ahead and added these as well, just to try and use up some of the specific zoo themed ones that would fit with my pages. In addition to the cut-aparts from this pad, I also embellished with a few other things. I had gone through my stash and I actually found this ephemera pack, and it's Jungle Safari from Echo Park, not Animal Safari, but some of them kind of fit with the same thing. And so I used this little girl, this little tag up here was actually from that Jungle Safari ephemera pack. And then I also used some Sticky Picks puffy butterfly stickers from Paper House that I had found on clearance at Hobby Lobby. And then I also, like, these little word stickers here are from this Reminisce sticker sheet, The Wild. So just wanted to add, since it's not often that I do a 2-page spread, and so I actually had plenty of room to add a bunch of extra embellishments. And then I also added some vintage black Nouveau drops. So I did another spread as well, since I do one for myself, one for my daughter, and it is pretty much the same, except for some of the stickers are going to be different because I didn't have 2 of those. Some of the enamel dots are in different places. Like this little elephant up here is one of the other pieces from that Jungle Safari ephemera pack. But again, I use those same for journal cards. So that right there used about half sheet of, pretty much 2 full sheets of paper, the animals and then the leaf, plus 8 of the cut aparts. So the next one that I used, I had this one here that says, let's be honest, we only go for the food. And we don't really go to the zoo for the food, we really do go for the animals. And so one place we do go for the food, though, is the fair. And so I decided this is like a little country fair that our church puts on, and we go for the food and to visit with our friends, and the kids do get to ride some rides and play some games. So I decided to pull this cut apart card into a layout about our country fair. And so this is kind of like the main embellishment on this page. And then I took another cut apart and cut it down. It was like a bunch of words. And so I cut it down so that I was using the words having fun and then going wild, which Ellie really doesn't look like she's going wild. She just looks like, whatever, why am I on this ride? And then to make a title card for this one, I used some white letter stickers from my stash, and then I had this stamp set from Alta New that has a little carousel on it, and I'm trying to see if I can find the name. Carousel, that's what it's called. So I thought it had some more circus sayings on it, but it didn't. It's more of a birthday theme. But I did use the carousel. And then I ended up heat embossing that with some black embossing powder and just kind of made that on another little journal card or Project Life type card there for my title. And then I do have a strip of paper from that pad going vertically this way. And then these are just actually, I used a little circle punch to punch out some of the paper, and then used glossy accents. Sorry, brain could not figure out what that was. Glossy accents on them to make them look like enamel dots. So that was one for one book. And then this is for my daughter's album. Again, used that big journal card down here. And then I only used one word phrase from one of the other card parts up here. But I used, it's another 6-inch strip of that kind of plaid paper. I just separated it into 2 strips, one up here and one down here, and then put the pictures across the middle on this one. So between these 2 pages, I used another sheet of the patterned paper. And then here I just had, there's some green 3D alphas that I had in my stash from Colorbach that looked like they came from Michael's at some point. And then these are some enamel dots that kind of coordinated really well with the dark blue in here, and they are actually the circus enamel dots from Cartabella. And then here I just used some punch circles. So that was another way I used the cut-aparts. And then I did one more round of pages and got to use 2 different cut-aparts on these pages. And I decided, I had some pictures of my youngest daughter who always liked to climb in things and on things, and she just thought it was just hilarious that she was, you know, being, like here she, you know, is in my mom and dad's dog's crate, and she shuts the door on herself, and a lot of times she would lock herself in. Or she'd climb in a footstool, or she pulled everything out of the cabinets, climbed in there, into the toy box. So I just decided that the Born to Be Wild cut-apart was fitting for her. And then because of her in the cage, I went ahead and used the Don't Feed the Animals, Only the Humans cut-apart. So I took 2 different strips of pattern paper on this one, and then covered the seam with some like mustard yellow paper cardstock that coordinated with the yellow in here. And then these 2 strips were left. There was a cut-apart I cut down, or something I had cut down at one point, and then this was what was left. And so I just used it kind of just to accent this cardstock strip. And then it's hard to tell, but I felt like this needed something else. Like I didn't have any other real embellishments on it. And so I took a scrap of this bird paper and was able to fussy cut out this wild looking kind of teal colored bird, and then a few of the leaves that were around it as well, just to give the page something else. So, and then this one I went with more of a pink theme, and so I pulled in a strip of the butterfly paper that's in the pad, and then was able to use some more of those Sticky Picks puffy butterflies on here. And then again, the same 2 journal cards, just kind of arranged everything differently. So the point of this is, just because it's an animal safari themed pad doesn't mean you have to use it for zoo pictures or safari pictures. You can tweak it. You know, there's some of the cut-aparts in here where if I had pictures of the kids just, you know, creating chaos or whatever, like it's a zoo in here, or everybody's just monkeying around, those cut-aparts would have worked well for, you know, pictures like that as well. So when you get these types of pads, you don't have to use them for animal themed pictures or projects. There's, you know, you can use them in different ways. So that's kind of what I wanted to showcase here, is that I was able to use some of the zoo themed cut-aparts on non-zoo or non-animal themed pages. So, and it was good. Like I said, I used, let's see, 1, 2, 3, probably about 4 sheets of paper from the pad, and then 2, 4, 6, 10, 14 cut-aparts. And on these 8 pages, so that used up a nice little chunk of items from the pad. So this was just where I started, because I I already knew I wanted to do these pictures with this pad, and so I always like to start on something that's going to kind of get the juices flowing a little bit. Start in my comfort zone, and then, you know, I can always kind of break out of my comfort zone on some other projects, but it just helps me to kind of get into the zone here when I start with kind of an easy project or a project that I already know what I want to do, know how I want to do it, get the mojo going. So anyway, that's what I've got done so far. I'm already into my second project for that, and so hopefully I will be able to share that later this week. But just wanted to let you know what I did for now, and just to show you some different ways that you can use the cut parts on non-animal themed projects. But if you guys have any questions on anything, let me know. Otherwise, I thank you guys so much for your time, and I hope you stay tuned for some more projects from this fun little animal safari pad. Thanks again. I hope you have a crafty day.